My name is Margaret Ann Windsor, and the day I was born Queen Victoria II, heir to the British crown. This is my father, King Edward VIII, and this is my Aunt Georgia O'Keeffe, the artist. My father never married Wallace Simpson. She was an American spy. She married a double. There were more than one doubles or imposters. And one of them, I guess they could interact, became the illegal title of Duke and Duchess of Windsor with Wallace. I want to put this up here. My father was always married to my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keeffe, from Madison, Wisconsin. And there was an addendum to the forced abdication. They took him down the Illuminati, which is your Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, your global government. The thing, this is Elizabeth, who is illegal. She's fake. She's high up in the Illuminati that kidnapped me. So this tells you what kind of woman she is with her bouquet and her jewelry. And this is what people look at and envy or like her. She's a war criminal. She's not even the legitimate heir. So what good is inheritance when you can get rid of my father with lies? He was married to my mom. She was a school teacher. 1936, and he was taken illegally, forced to remove by character assassination. The doubles, that's just one. By the way, that looks like a U.S. Marshal. I know. It's weird. Excuse me here with the this. I don't have the cameras and the food and the home. She should be evicted. She's living in my homes. When people ask, where's my homes? Some of them knowingly, you have someone living in them, don't you? Yeah, sure do. You know, I would love to see the woman and that family, her family, that know it all, Charles, and their love for giving to charity. They're giving my money while I've lived in hell. And I've put it up for whoever on Facebook and YouTube over the years. But my father and my children and my mom have been so hurt in this. My father told the truth. He would not follow the orders of the Illuminati, so they took him down with character assassination. You know, they go out and they can spread their wars and take out leaders, and but my father, they had to take out a different way. Why? Some of his family have chosen to defame him. And now then, it's come back with with the Meghan Markle. It's come back bringing the old lies about my father. That's not my father. It's an imposter. And the imposter became the governor of the Bahamas, and you should see the crimes he committed. This is the most atrocious cover-up and lie in taking down a leader and kidnapping his daughter in history, I would think. So I want to show this. So this is where my uncle in 1939, and by the way, an attorney here had this for me. This is Roosevelt that appointed Joe Kennedy ambassador to England, 36. Ironic, isn't it? 36, the year my father became king and my mother became queen. And this is born in 39, the year I was born. This is his dear wife, Elizabeth's mom. Excuse me, I earned the right because I am the real person and they have committed every crime in the book against me. While people love her for her crown that's not even hers. They're money hungry, walking around, people admiring them for the clothes and the jewels they wear and how they got away with taking down a monarch who was totally good. That one that had integrity here, Elizabeth. So my father wouldn't follow the Illuminati. They took him down with character assassination and kidnapping his daughter. Here is George they call him the reluctant king. Every bit of this has been a lie. Winston Churchill helped burn the Windsor files, my birth and my mom's marriage to my father. Oh, they just wiped me off the map, and my father and mom and my kids. This is George, and that history tells you he was the reluctant king. He's a fake king. He's not even, he's a war criminal along with her, and they are fake. The minute I was born, my father never meant to give up the crown, and he didn't. He had an addendum, an attachment, and it stated, should he have an heir, the heir would inherit. That'd be me in 1939. Here this sorry sot, and that's who they are planning my kidnapping, 1939. I think they called it the hot dog. Was that the hot dog festival in Hyde Park? Well, I don't know that was it, the hot dog festival. I'd have to try reading it again. Anyway, what I wanted to put up, when they kidnapped me and brought me over to Moulton, Alabama in 1941, aged 2 years, I was put down in a place that was so hideous. You can't call it a farm. It was a shack with the Dempseys and their kids, which they had, I believe, I may be wrong, 7 daughters and one son, Matthew. When I was put there at age 2, it was hideous what was done to me. They gave me the name of the twin, Peggy, and Carl was the other twin. They were born out of wedlock, so they stole my name and gave me hers. And I grew up, I always knew something was wrong, but until 1983, who in the heck do you think told me all this and has been here? It's the Brits and the Germans and some Americans. So for someone to call me names, and they really did, and they've blocked me, got me taken down from Queen Victoria's granddaughters. You know what? I think if I'm not rambling, I'm trying to get this up here. But if I'm rambling, I certainly earn the right, but I'm not. Victoria, I would hate to think that my great-great-grandmother would share the views that you bunch of low-life scums have. When money and stealing is okay, it doesn't mean anything anymore, the inheritance thing. You're war criminals. Now then, my father had integrity. He was taken down, then they kidnapped me. And in his addendum in 1936, it stated, should he have an heir, the heir would inherit. And I did. The day I was born, I became Queen Victoria II, heir to the British crown, which would put my father back into being my power of attorney and guardian till I was old enough to make decisions myself. So Uncle George, unlike the movie that portrays him and then the Queen that portrays Elizabeth as this beautiful woman, all of it fake. And Dunkirk, or what was it that Churchill, the movie they just had of him, making him out to be a hero. This man helped take down my father. He participated, close friends with Roosevelt, President Roosevelt, who's a part of this whole thing, Rockefellers, Joe Kennedy, the Kennedys. JFK actually helped him at kidnapping and bringing me to Moulton, Alabama, and where I got the name of the twin. They pinned that on me, took my ID, and Carl was killed a month after birth in 1938, the best I can ascertain. And anyway, Peggy was killed just a week or two before they put me there. I couldn't make sense of some memories if I even had them. There's some things, but it didn't make sense until I found out about my real name after I'd run in a U.S. congressional as a candidate to replace Larry McDonald, who was a Dr. Congressman. I'd written a book about, well, he was a case in it. And I was almost killed. I mean, it's been an ongoing hell where anybody could do anything to me and my children and deny me my name when I found out about it. The Brits told me. Not my family, but I still think that some of my family are good. I know that some of the Germans and some others tried to help me. It's the close-up, the Windsors, like Elizabeth, etc. Even I certainly believe even some of my father's brothers, siblings, children and siblings may have helped in trying to bring me back. I certainly hope so. When I say I'm a Windsor, I am. But you're making it very hard. The people and some of the Windsors have made it very hard to appreciate the name. You know what I mean? Elizabeth and company. And when I put things up on yesterday on Queen Victoria's granddaughters, I'm her great-great-granddaughter, named after her. So for people who are part of that post, and I don't know who was responsible, but they sure took me down. Whether it goes back up tomorrow, I don't know, but it's all down. The nastiest comments, one right after another, came up from the people, and whoever controls that post, I don't know if the Windsors do or who does, but they sure wiped me off of that one. They just erase the hell out of me, don't they? Pretend I didn't happen, pretend my father's a person he's not. Anyway, even on Facebook, the things were deleted that referred to that post yesterday. So I don't know what if the truth is told and the world has to see it. You dumped me off in a hellhole, a Queen of England, made a mockery out of my father and my mother, total lies. What if you show me picking cotton in Alabama and the horrific, that's really nothing to the things that I put up with trying to grow up. Then I had to take care of the woman. When I finished high school, I had to waitress after school 7 days a week, 11:30 at night after I cleaned up the restaurant, walk back in the dark. But that's nothing to the hell what this people did to me. When I put up yesterday about, I don't want this to go out, about Melita, it was about the great-great-granddaughter, I believe she's great-great, of Victoria. She died, but her name was Elizabeth Melita. In this whole thing, the Melita means something, and I'm going to clarify that because my mark is next in line as the King of England after me. He inherits after me than Scott would, if you know. Mark, I became pregnant. I had married my husband, and I know now that was all meant to be. Just as a lot of this that I look back and I wonder who's pulling the strings or has this much power. Melita was the street where the house was that when I became pregnant with Mark, and he's the heir, the real king of England. If I weren't there, I'm the Queen Victoria II. So that was in Fort Worth, Texas. And this would have been 1958 when I became pregnant, I guess, late, because he was born the next year. And I want to go back, though, when I looked back at the twins, and remember I grew up being told that I was Peggy and called bastard and all the names that illegitimate was considered horrifying back then, and the child, in essence, was blamed for it. Like they had committed the crime. Well, even though there were a lot of people at first, and some of them actually disappeared, that tried to tell that I'm not that child, what happened to the real Peggy. Well, they just disappeared or had to move or whatever. But well, let's see. Is this going to do me any good? I don't know. I'm fighting for something that I'm really fighting for my father's name to be replaced with the real him and not lies. And anyway, the picking cotton and putting up with Lionel Dempsey was just a part of the hell. But what I know what I was going to say now, the Melita, if you take, I'm not even going to excuse that. People know I'm telling the truth, for God's sake. When I look back, Philip, after I was put there at age 2 and 41, Philip came there as a baby. He was supposed to have been born to Lina, which would have been made him, I'm supposed to be Peggy, according to what they did, switch me, gave me her name after they killed her and killed Carl. And Philip was brought there. Isn't that odd? They named him Philip. His is spelled with 2 L's. I don't believe for one moment he was born to that woman. She wasn't married. She never married except one time later, much later, after I had married. Philip was brought there. The name Philip is in later the illegal Elizabeth would marry Philip Mountbatten. Okay, go back to the twins. When I'm hearing about Peggy, the twins, and that's supposed to be me at the time, they gave me her name. Freeman Norwood was supposed to be the father of the twins, and he was younger than Lina, and so they were never married. And he married Geneva, a woman named Geneva. If you get in, it's not just that. There's a whole list of things that are so preposterous just to have been a coincidence. Geneva, Switzerland, you get into names that appear that had to all that, some of it had to be planned. I don't know how they carried it out. It was after my kidnapping and takedown of my father that you had the Illuminati, the Jews taking over, they went back to Israel. And you had all the illegal treaties because they were illegal. My father was taken out illegally and me kidnapped, and I certainly didn't sign any for the United States to come in and take over the UK and Great Britain and everything we had. And it's the treaties that allowed all this to happen. If you go to the Netherlands, Beatrix, the war crimes are tried there by the very people that kidnapped me. What kind of family do I have that they would allow or become a part of all this? And I'm not saying they all did, because I know personally that some came over here very, they weren't exactly, well, I don't know. There may be some Windsors here too. I'm talking about ones that came over that were German and really, really paid a price for trying to help me and help my father. I'm going to quit now because it's so horrific and they've taken it down. And I guess what makes you think you're the good guys that you can take down my post to who I really am and allow all those dirty, filthy things to be said to me when I'm the victim, and so are my father and my children and my mom, my beautiful mom. The audacity for this country or anybody else to have the gall